What do you think is the most profitable black market business in the world? The one that's the most destructive, the most dangerous, the hardest to predict, and the moment you find out about it, everything falls apart. There's no time to react. Think, think, think. Right. Is it drug trafficking? Or human trafficking? Is it organ trafficking or selling nuclear weapons? None of those. The answer is 0 day. 0 day, 0 day, 0 day. A 0 day is a cyber attack that doesn't even give you a single day to prepare, because it's about finding vulnerabilities in code that even the person who wrote the code doesn't know exist. That's why 0 days are used as worms by major countries. They're used to infiltrate and destroy the infrastructure of other countries. It's happened many times already. Support 0 Day Info and assisting us in dealing with cyber attacks and cyber threats by scanning this QR code. Or you can show your incredible support for the Science Money Monster channel by liking, sharing, commenting to chat with us, or subscribing. That way, you definitely won't miss our next video. Does that sound like a plan to you? What is a 0 day? A 0 day is a vulnerability in code in either hardware or software, that even the people who created it, the ones who wrote the code, have no idea exists. That's why when it comes to 0 days, antivirus programs can't do anything about them. There are some hackers out there who actually make a hobby out of searching for vulnerabilities in operating systems. They look for weaknesses in Windows, iOS, and so on, and if they find one, they can turn it into a 0 day. The potential impact of a 0 day, for example, if a 0 day is found in the iOS operating system used on iPhones, is that the hacker could hack into and access all kinds of information on every iPhone in the world. They could see your photos, files, credit card information, everything without you even knowing. And you wouldn't even be able to catch them. If someone can break into your mobile phone, it means they can pretty much hack into anything. Hospitals, train stations, power plants, any kind of infrastructure. They could even hack into nuclear systems or the Prime Minister's computer. If there's anything worth hacking in that computer. So, as everyone clearly remembers from last month, the United States launched a series of targeted bombs on a major nuclear base located in Iran. But well before the US government decided to bomb it, all the way back in 2010, the US had already successfully used a sophisticated 0 day worm to break into and completely destroy the critical infrastructure of Iran's nuclear power plant. In that specific cyber attack, the US only used just a single USB drive, but the investment was worth $2 billion. Everyone knows that the United States and Israel absolutely do not want Iran to develop a nuclear program. But the story actually started back in 1998, when Pakistan successfully tested nuclear weapons. Then, in 2003, things escalated. Iran got nuclear warhead blueprints from Pakistan. By 2005, Iran and Pakistan had joined forces. They officially started collaborating on developing the nuclear warhead project. So they began developing and researching nuclear power plants in Iran, with plenty of equipment and a large amount of uranium-235 coming in from Pakistan. The United States and Israel saw what was happening and demanded that Iran stop immediately. But did Iran listen? Not at all. Until 2007, President George Bush, at that time, even said that the development of the nuclear program, Iran was going too far, and it was starting to get dangerous. They wanted it to stop, like it really needed to stop. Some people even suggested bombing Iran's nuclear power plant. But at that time, George Bush didn't agree with that idea, so it didn't happen. Then a new idea came up. Around that time, Keith Alexander, the first director of the NSA, took office and started monitoring Iran's nuclear development program. And in 2008, Keith Alexander proposed an operation called Operation Olympic Games. George Bush approved this project and allocated a budget of $2 billion. That $2 billion was used for a lot of things, mainly for research and development and to look for vulnerabilities in the Windows operating system. In total, they found 4 vulnerabilities, which are called 0 days. This required a huge budget and was an extremely expensive research and development effort because it involved searching for weaknesses in very complex and intricate code. Or even hiring underground hackers to do this would also cost millions of dollars. In the end, the United States was able to successfully find vulnerabilities in the Windows operating system code. This resulted in what is called malware, or zero-day exploits. The problem was that the United States intended to stop Iran's nuclear development program by attacking the Natanz nuclear power plant. But the Natanz nuclear power plant, it's located in the middle of the desert. And all of Natanz's computers aren't even connected to the outside internet. It's actually one of Iran's critical infrastructure systems with some of the best security in the world. Basically, all the computers are locked inside a closed network like this, with no way out. They only use it internally. Outside internet can't get in. So if you want to hack it, the only way is to get someone to bring a USB drive and plug it into the Natanz nuclear power plant system. At that time, the NSA started looking for a secret agent to carry out this impossible mission. They ended up finding a Dutch secret agent, a 35-year-old engineer who was married to an Iranian woman, so he blended in perfectly. But this secret agent didn't succeed in plugging the USB into the system because by 2009, he had an accident. Still, the importance of this secret agent was that after that, someone started investigating the circumstances of his death and discovered that this secret agent, named Eric von Sobden, was the one assigned to carry out the covert operation to help the United States and Israel launch a cyber attack on Iran's Natanz nuclear facility. This eventually revealed that the whole thing was actually the work of the United States in collaboration with Israel. As for who exactly, no one knows who actually plugged the USB into the Natanz nuclear facility system in Iran, but what we do know is that it was successfully plugged in during August 2009. This allowed the zero-day exploit called Stuxnet to spread into the Windows systems inside the Natanz facility. Do you know how Stuxnet works? It operates by releasing a virus, right? It's malware that commands the uranium centrifuges, which are used to produce nuclear energy. It made the centrifuges spin abnormally fast, and not just all of them, only certain ones. They spun so fast that they overheated and ended up destroying themselves. But do you know what's really impressive about the people who created this virus? They were able to design a virus that could specifically target the nuclear centrifuge system, making the uranium centrifuges spin faster to generate nuclear energy. But the results shown on the monitor screens made it look like everything was working normally. Everything seemed fine. So the scientists and technicians who were monitoring the system by watching the screens had no idea that anything was wrong. They only found out when, boom, it was already destroyed. This operation ended up destroying the nuclear centrifuges at the Natanz power plant, and it delayed Iran's nuclear development program by several years. So you could say it was quite a successful mission. But do you know what the amazing thing that happened after the Stuxnet incident when the United States used a zero-day attack to destroy the Natanz power plant in Iran was? Instead of making people afraid, it actually turned into a kind of advertisement that made other countries feel like, hey, do I really need to have 0 days too? It actually turned into a kind of massive campaign showing just how incredibly destructive 0 days can be, setting a brand new legal precedent where each country could use cyber attacks to destroy the infrastructure of other nations. It is pretty crazy, right? Once it happened that one single time, after that, there were tons of cyber attacks using 0 days. That was back in the year 2007. All the computers in hospitals across London, 230,000 machines, were hacked in a single day. The National Health Service, or NHS, in the UK reported that they didn't even realize they were under a cyber attack until May 12, 2017. This ransomware even had a name, WannaCry. Wow, just hearing the name makes you want to try it out, right? Because WannaCry made it so that medical staff couldn't access their data for patients or their previous medical records at all. This is a huge issue. It means that thousands of patients who were supposed to have surgery that day couldn't get their operations. The surgeries couldn't proceed because doctors couldn't access the patient's medical histories. This creates chaos in the lives of patients who were lying there, not knowing if they'll make it or not. And it deeply affects their families, who are anxiously waiting for their loved one's turn for surgery, only to find out it can't happen because someone hacked the computers. That incident, of course, led to some patients losing their lives unnecessarily that day, and for the families of those patients, it became an extremely sensitive and painful situation. It was a real loss that affected people's lives. Then, the following month, just 1 month later, on June 27, 2017, Russia launched a cyber attack on Ukraine. Everyone in Ukraine woke up to find black screens everywhere. On their phones, on any device, all the screens were black. Of course, anything that required digital access was completely unusable. People couldn't withdraw money from ATMs, hospitals couldn't operate, trains couldn't run, nothing worked. This single attack from Russia, it was estimated that the damage in Ukraine amounted to tens of billions of dollars. And Russia was even able to send messages directly to every citizen's mobile phone, telling them just how weak the Ukrainian government, or their own government, was. The message was that the only ones strong enough and in control of everything were the Russian government. And this wasn't the only time Russia did this to Ukraine, nor was it the first. Back in 2015, Russia had already sent malware to Ukraine, shutting down all the power plants. That malware was called Black Energy. It caused a nationwide blackout in Ukraine. Speaking of blackouts, it reminds me of what happened recently on April 28, 2025, when there was a power outage in Spain and Portugal. Do you remember that? And the outcome was that no one could really say for sure what caused it. There's a possibility, that someone might have used a zero-day exploit on Spain and Portugal that day. But the government did come out and say that it wasn't a cyber attack, okay? It wasn't a zero-day or anything like that. It was just an electrical circuit malfunction, that's all. But just imagine, these days everyone has gadgets, multiple phones, computers, even our cars are connected to the internet, right? So if someone were to actually plan a cyber attack, we'd likely stand no chance, especially when we're checking our phones every few minutes, making survival even tougher. So if you ask when zero days actually started, honestly, zero days have been around since the late 1980s and 1990s, back when there was barely anything. Over time, it evolved into what we now call zero day. It became a kind of death merchant, selling cyber bullets that turned into one of the most lucrative businesses in the world. Because ever since computers came onto the scene, hackers appeared right alongside them. But actually, the term hacker originally referred to people who like to look for weaknesses in operating systems or software. Back then, there was a group of hackers who liked to look for vulnerabilities in newly released software. When they found something, they would contact the tech company to let them know, like, hey, I found this weakness in your software. You should probably fix it. But it turned out that those tech companies didn't like what these hackers were doing because they didn't want anyone to know that the products they released, the code they wrote, had vulnerabilities. They wanted their customers to just know about their services and focus only on what they provide. On top of that, some companies even threatened those hackers, telling them to stop calling and giving information. So a number of hackers thought, well, if you won't listen when we try to help, then we'll just share it publicly. That's how a service called BugTrack by Microsoft came about. At that time, tech companies actually saw this group as terrorists. Moving on, in 2003, people started to see opportunities in what these hackers were doing. There was a company called iDefense. iDefense would buy the vulnerabilities that these hackers found, but they did it in a way that looked professional and credible, like a real company. Then they'd take those weaknesses and talk to tech companies, saying, hey, if you buy this, you'll be able to protect yourself from these threats. The tech companies would buy them and ID Fence would pay the hackers, but not a lot, maybe just around $100 per vulnerability or so. With all this buying and selling going on, more people started to see opportunities in the zero-day market. They realized that these vulnerabilities could be much more profitable, and soon government contractors began buying flaws, buying zero days from these hackers at increasingly higher prices. The prices kept going up because the destructive power of these vulnerabilities is huge, right? So they could pay starting from just $100 all the way up to millions, over $1 million. There's information about this from Edward, a former American intelligence analyst. The United States is actually one of the major players in the zero-day market. The NSA has built up a stockpile of invisible backdoors in every app, every server, every piece of software you can imagine. They have backdoors in all of them. Just think about it. Everything in our lives that's cyber-related, everything we use today, is connected to the internet. And the more our lives are tied to the cyber world, the greater the risk becomes. Because with 0 days, they can break into anything, literally everything. They can even hack into your phone without you even turning it on. They can get in, no problem.